We are joined now by Clint Bowyer, driver of the number 14 One Cure Ford. Clint, take us through the last several laps out there today.
You just don't know what's going on. I mean, you kind of do, but you kind of don't. You pick up, little bits and pieces of what the crew chief and the spotters are telling you. But, I saw him stay out when we pitted, and I was like, well, what's that mean, Where are we going to come out? And I kept looking, where's the 78? And then, he just had such an advantage on tires there at the end, same advantage we did of the time prior that when he had tires. So, all in all, there was 3 cars that were class of the field, and proud that we were one of them, but kind of frustrated that we weren't over there in Victory Lane.
Open it up for questions. Any questions upstairs? Oh. We'll go to you, Don.
And if there had been a caution, would that
No questions upstairs.
No. Thank you.
Thank you. If there had been a caution, did you have a car enough to take them?
It had just been a good race. I mean, obviously, if we stayed out, it'd have been one thing. If we pitted, you'd adjusted your air pressure and things like that for a short run. And again, there was 3 cars that were the class of the field all day long. And, you could get to them, you could get to their bumper, and without moving them or dive on them or something like that, you just kind of settle in and just save your tires because you knew you needed to be patient and wait till the end of the race. And we had, all 3 of us were kind of doing that. You could see one of us drive up to them, and it was like, we'll just wait and see what happens, So it never did. It never did present itself to have a restart like that. And that's kind of, honestly, I think that's a credit to the caliber of equipment out there, the caliber of drivers out there, a lot of rookies out there, and young kids that haven't been here very often, if not the first time. I really thought and expected there to be a few more problems out there, and there just wasn't.
Kind of unrelated, but you had a special guest in your pit box today, Evander Kane from the San Jose Sharks. Was just wondering if you had a chance for his very first NASCAR race to get an idea of what he was all about.
Yeah, enjoyed him over at the One Cure tent before the race, and I'm sure the guys enjoyed him. Just seemed like a good personality. It's always fun to see, celebrities and sports figures and everybody come out to these races, and certainly this is one that they all flock to, so it's cool to have him on board this week, for sure.
Related to the race, though, I wanted to ask you about the track conditions. Obviously, the temperature was a little bit different today than yesterday. I wondered if that figured into anything that happened out there.
Yeah, all weekend long, just turn was a little bit more of an issue than forward bite, and that's been different, in the last 5 or 6 years that we've been here. It's always been kind of a forward bite deal, and it seemed like we all fought turn a little bit more this year than forward bite. But all in all, it was a lot of fun. Always is coming out here, and there was 3 cars that were like I said, that were stood tall amongst the crowd, and we never got a restart or anything else to put on a show. That's unfortunate. We're all competitors, and trust me, when you're out there in clean air like that, it's kind of nice. But we all understand everybody's here, and I hope they enjoyed the race. And you work your ass off out there. I mean, it's hard to showcase that. That track is demanding full attention and full focus. Every single lap, especially when you're racing up there against my teammate Kevin and Martin. You don't see mistakes out of those guys. Cars that you lap and things like that, you see mistakes. But the guys that are running up front, they don't slip, they don't make mistakes, they take care of their tires. And if you look at their cars sitting down there, stacked up, it showcases that. So I had fun. Ready to go see my little guy. See you guys.
Thanks, Clint. We are also joined now by Kevin Harvick, driver of the number 4 Mobil 1 Ford. Kevin, obviously you're the defending race winner here from last year, and you've also been one of the dominant forces this season. Was there anything that you wish that you would approach differently out there today?
No, I think everybody did a good job. Martin just had a little bit faster car than we did today. And, at the beginning of the race, we could outrun him just a little bit. And as the second stage got over, we just started struggling with the brakes on our car. And when the brakes started not working as good getting in the corner, I started carrying more speed through the center of the corner, and then it started burn the rear tires off on the exit. So just kind of a few things compounded there to add up to a few things that didn't work out to win the race today.
Open it up for questions. Start, gentleman over here.
I was watching as the cars came in off the racetrack, and it's amazing how clean they are. I mean, there's not a whole lot of body damage, a lot of carnage. Is everybody just getting better at road racing? Was it much harder out there than it looked?
This is always a tough race, and it's not always about slamming into people. And I think as you look at the restarts, that's usually where the most damage comes, and we didn't have many of those today.
Additional questions right here.
Did their Truex's late pit stop confuse you, surprise you? Looked like it sure helped them.
It didn't affect our day at all. I don't think it would have been any different of an outcome.
Okay.
Kevin, Clint just spoke of, you have to be focused, and the track was demanding. How would you explain it? Was it demanding to you as well?
Well, I mean, any road race is demanding, and I think when you look at how many things are happening and the pace fall off, that you fight here, I mean, there's just a lot of things to think about, as you go through the day, and you're starting to fight different problems as you go through the day and get later in the race, and things start to get harder just because the car doesn't feel as good, it doesn't stop as good, things just don't feel as good as they did at the beginning of the race. So it's a very demanding day, a lot of things going on, and especially when you don't get too many breaks out there on a day like this. It's hard on everything, on your feet, your legs, your arms, your head, just because you're bouncing off the curbs, you're slamming on the brakes, and so there's a lot going on inside the car.
Next, we'll go upstairs. Any questions upstairs?
No questions upstairs.
Any additional questions for Kevin? Thank you, Kevin. Ladies and gentlemen, we are joined now by owner of the winning team, Barney Visser, and Furniture Row Racing President, Joe Garone. Welcome. We'll start with a question for Barney. What was going through your mind during the last 10 laps of the race?
I should have a better answer than I do right now, because I've been asked that about 6 times tonight. Yeah, I'm like everybody else. I'm just praying there's not going to be a caution here. It was pretty intense. I was thinking about last year and having the fastest car here and just not being able to pull it off. This place can break your heart, and so I just didn't know what was going to happen.
We'll open it up for questions. First, we'll go to Jeff.
For either you, Jeff Gluck from jeffgluck.com. Did you understand what Cole was going for when he was first calling Martin into the pits, or were you in the dark as much as everybody else was initially?
Oh, I got it 100%. Yeah, it was, and it was, flying by the seat of your pants kind of call. Had we not been running second at the time and feeling like we maybe weren't quite as good as the 4 car, at least at that point in time, it was a call that the guys rumbled back and forth about and made. And obviously the first time we called it, it didn't work. So it was really cool that we were able to call it the second time. And yeah, what a great move by Cole.
Next, we'll go to Bob.
Bob Hockers, ESPN. Barney, you kind of alluded to this, but Rodney Childers said he felt last year you all had the best car, and the 4 won, and now he felt like the 4 had the best car and you won, so he feels like everything's square.
No, I think we still need to beat him a few more times. So, yeah, no, that's right. This place can break your heart. You show up with the fastest equipment, and we both think we have the best driver. And but today we won, and they lost. So,
do we have any questions upstairs?
No questions upstairs.
Next, we'll go over here.
I guess I'm going to leave it for both of you because I don't know which of you would be better answer. But you have been growing this organization for a little while now. what does a win like this mean as far as the maturity of the team and what you're building out of it?
Well, it continues. Anytime we get a win, it continues to strengthen the team and validate our efforts. In particular, coming off a championship, you want to come back the second year and be as strong as you can possibly be. It's not just about putting cars out, good, strong cars out on the track, and the guys doing good stops and making the right calls. It's also about the platform we build for our sponsors. And I think that continues to grow, and I think we've shown real strong strength there as a leader, and it's just winning's everything and validates our efforts.
Any additional questions?
Well, thank you. Blush, blush.
Next, we'll come back to Bob.
Barney, Harvick has a little bit owned the series at the start of the year. You all seem to be coming along here. Have you felt after last year? Have you been feeling greedy and like, why can't we win them all? And where do you see your team just as far as championship contention versus Harvick?
Well, it's taken us a little longer to get this downforce package pulled together. They started out a little faster than we did, and I think we're starting to get a handle on it now, and I think we're going to be real strong the rest of the season.
We are also joined now by winning crew chief Cole Pearn. Questions for Cole? Let's go to Jeff.
So if you're going to ask me about Oregon.
The gash?
No.
Oh. Jeff Gluck from.
I wish it was something cooler.
Oh. Jeff Gluck from jeffgluck.com. I guess people on Twitter are asking that, so you can answer that if you want. But they're like, oh my gosh, what is that? But I was more wondering about the strategy. How long before you made that call were you thinking of that? And did it become obvious to you, like, all right, this is the only shot we have here to run with this guy?
Yeah, I mean, I think kind of as the first run went and, they started to make gains on us and, it was clear they were a little bit better. And, we continued to work on the car too. I mean, I think, really before we pitted the last time, we were getting way more equal with them. We were starting where I thought we were actually gaining on them a little bit. But, earlier in the race, yeah, we were like, hey, if this goes long and, this might be our opportunity to do something different. And fortunately, it worked out.
Go to Bob.
Bob Pockris, ESPN. I have two for Cole. First off, how did you get that?
I wish I was fighting a bear or a cougar or something cool like that, but my wife has been on me about building this treehouse for her kids, and anyways, I wanted nothing to do with it, but we were fortunate with the West Coast race. We were able to fly out Friday morning, so I actually had a somewhat of a day off on Thursday, and I decided to get involved, and they kind of had it screwed up a bit from what they had done before, and we kind of took it all down and reset, and we were resetting like a 4x4 corner post, and I thought my wife had it, and she didn't, and I walked away to get a clamp, and she yelled my name, and I turned right into it, and basically got KO'd by it, and but yeah, I went right down to my skull, bled a lot, and had to get stitched on the inside, then on the outside, and was back in about an hour, and I worked till about 9 o'clock Thursday night, and I finished the stupid thing. So I'm glad it's done.
He probably wouldn't have made that call if he wouldn't have been hit in the head.
Do you have like a sense of pride of snookering them? And if the thought was to do it, were you thinking like, do we do it today, or do we maybe wait for another road course race where the strategy could work?
I don't know. I mean, I think you got to take the opportunities when they present themselves, and today was one of those. And we were fortunate enough to last year we had a really great car. By far better than they were, and they were the second best car, and we blew up and they won. So today they were probably a little bit better than us, and we were having it fortunate enough for us to work out and win. But you never know what's going to happen in the future. But at the end of the day, we really wanted to win today, and proud it worked out.
To Jeff.
How often does stuff like that go on? I mean, sometimes, like in an oval race or something, it'll be like, oh, the guys jumped up on the wall. But You know, I don't really know if that affects the race that much, or at least we can't tell from our perspective or TV perspective, like that it really played a factor in the race. This one was so obvious today. It seemed like that this was deciding the outcome of the race. Has this happened in a situation before in your career where like that type of call actually really changed the outcome of the whole event?
I think there's little things that go on every week on an oval track, but it's just I think the harder thing is that everything happens so much quicker. You know, you're here, you're 78, 80-second lap times versus 30 seconds on an average week. So it's a little bit different, more time to react to set something up, I guess, like that. So it's definitely a little bit of a product of just having a longer track and more opportunity to do that.
Rodney came into victory lane. What did he say to you? Were you surprised to see him? And do you guys have a pretty good relationship as you're continuing to battle here for titles?
Yeah, we have a great relationship. I feel like I respect him a lot, and I think he does the same. And him and Martin worked together back at MWR, so I mean they're good friends. I mean, at the end of the day, we're playing a game, So it's like at the end of the day, he's a good guy, and I think it's kind of cool for him to do that. And I think I always try and congratulate them when they win. And he always does it when we win. And like you said, we've raced against each other now for as long as I've been a crew chief. We've battled them a lot of weeks, and they're a great race team and make us better. And I think that was cool. There's plenty of days where they're going to be when they're going to be up. I mean, Kevin Harvick's a awesome race car driver, and I got a lot of respect for him. I was race engineer for him when I first started, so I think it's pretty cool to be able to race them like we do.
Any additional questions? Last question.
Got one upstairs.
Unusual. Oh. Unusual, Cole, to have that kind of respect between race teams that are top race teams like that?
I think that's the cool thing about racing. I mean, I think you go from this level down to a short track level. It's at the end of the day you're competing against each other, but you're all there to help each other out. When you're down, and at the end of the day we're playing a game. So I mean it's kind of cool to have that camaraderie, and you spend so many weeks together, beside each other in the garage area, working next to them, and obviously competing with them on race day and stuff. So I think that's one of the cool thing about motorsports. From go-karts to even to the cup level is it's kind of a family at the end of the day.
We have 2 questions upstairs.
Reed Spencer with NASCAR Wire. Cole, I wasn't quite clear on how Martin knew not to come to pit road. Did pit now mean don't pit, or did you call him off at the last second?
I called him off the last second. As far as he knew, we were pitting. I'd like to say that we're smart enough to use codes, but we're not, and we probably would screw it up. So it was just easier to say it and then call it off.
Next question upstairs.
Justin Schuler, Speedway Media. Cole, Truex shared in victory lane that he trusts you wholeheartedly. Win or lose, you guys do it together as a team and as an organization. So whenever you're able to pull off kind of what we felt was a strategy gamble, when you guys only pitted once in that final stage versus everyone else pitting twice, and then obviously hoping that no caution is going to come out in the closing laps, how does that help strengthen your bond together as a team?
Yeah, I mean, caution could have came out and we would have been, snookered the other way. So it's, we got a good relationship and we get along really well. And, I think, when it comes to these races, calling strategy, you just got to make the best call you can at the time. And that's what we did. And it worked out. So I think as far as his confidence in us is really good. And same with our confidence in them. I mean, I think that's the cool thing with being together as long as we have now. It's you continue to get better, and that's a neat thing.
Go right here to the front.
Tom Fitzgerald, San Francisco Chronicle. Cole, congratulations. Was it about 15 laps from the end when you told Martin, we got this? What exactly was the language that you used, and what was going through your head at that point?
Once they really opted to, once we were able to get the lead, and then they opted to pit again, which was a smart call for them at that point. That was for sure the right call for them to make. But we had made our bet at that point, and we were sitting there with the 23-second lead. It's like, well, this kind of worked out. So just be smart here, and it was good. No caution came. We were able to bring it to the line.
Go to Bob.
If Harvick doesn't pit, then would you guys have pitted at that point, or was the whole intention to stay out?
The whole intention was to stay out. We had a lap in mind that we were going to pit at, and it was just trying to get ourselves off sequence from them.
Next, we'll go to Beth.
You all have a championship from last year. You're the defending champion team. And you're also kind of seen as the scrappy team, the smaller team that could, and you go against some powerhouse teams that are out there. What do you think keeps you as contenders and as champions?
We got a lot of great people, and obviously, Barney's commitment to our team. I mean, he, enables us to kind of do it at a high level for a single car team. And then, on top of that, we got great partners in Toyota and Joe Gibbs Racing that, that we couldn't do without, period. They're awesome to work with, and we have a great relationship with them. So it's a kind of a unique situation where we got a lot of good people, and being out in Colorado is definitely, a challenge at times, but we look to the opportunities that we can embrace it. And it really just comes down to people. We got a great team of people on, even though it is a one-car team, and we rely on them heavily.
Any additional questions?
Can you elaborate a little bit on that? What do you gain, maybe not as much benefit as being a two-car team, but still get a lot of, how is it that it works with you and Gibbs?
We work back and forth a lot, and it's, some weeks it's difficult, especially on East Coast races. We have to load a lot earlier, just logistically to get there. And then, these West Coast races, it's an advantage for us, over most teams. We're able to have the car in the shop a few days, more than everybody else to get them out here. So it's, we like the West Coast races a lot. It plays into our favor, but I think the biggest thing is, it just comes down to relationships with people, and we got a lot of really good ones, and a lot of trust, and a lot of ones that have just been built over time, and it's not something you can just go draw up. We struggled for a lot of years, and we've just kind of adjusted and massaged and found a place that we know works for us. But it's a constant struggle. It's something we have to work at every week, and it's just fortunate enough again that we have a really good team of people, and we got a really good group of people that we work with.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thanks.
Congratulations, Martin. We are joined now by our race winner, Martin Truex Jr. Martin, congratulations. Take us through the last 10 laps of the race.
Oh, last 10 laps of the race were easy. A little stressful. I just hoping for no cautions, because we had a big lead. And it's funny when you have those, you get in those situations. This place is so tricky and so technical, but when you start to take care of your equipment and have time to think, it almost gets harder. So it's like, all right, just put laps together. Let's not make a mistake. If you let your guard down too much here, you can overshoot a corner real easy. So I tried to just back down my pace slightly, enough to make sure I wasn't going to hurt any parts of my car. No chances of locking up a tire or breaking a tranny or going off course or anything like that. But I still ran as hard as I thought I needed to. So it's a little stressful when you're in those situations because you never know what's going to happen. But all it worked out, and pretty cool to get the win here today after last year. So we thought about a lot. We thought a lot about that race last year, losing it, and it hurt. And we left here and thought about it for a long time. So to be able to come here and get it back was nice.
Open it up for questions. First, we'll go to Bob.
Bob Pockris, ESPN.
Why do you always say that smirk? You're like Bob Pockris.
Yeah.
Bob
I don't know.
Bob Pockris.
Yeah.
You're not working. Your mic's not working.
Bob Pockris, ESPN. Did you know that Cole and the crew were such good actors to be able to pretend like they were calling you into pit when
Yeah.
they actually weren't.
Yeah, we're in California. They went to acting school this week. They were in LA for a couple days on the off weekend, learning how to do screenplays and such.
Next, go to Jeff.
Jeff Gluck from jeffgluck.com. So are you in the car and, he calls you in and he says, okay, stay out, and he calls you in. Are you like, what is he doing? What the hell's going on? Or did you understand that they were trying something, or did you have just no idea?
I just drove the car. That's what I do, Cole and I have a great relationship. I never question him when he's calling races and when he has, things going on. When he's talking to me in the car, it's just okay. Yes or no answers for me. So yeah, I mean, he told me to pit, and I was like, okay, I'm going to pit. And then he said, don't pit. So I'm like, fine, I'm just going to stay out. I realized once the Ford pitted for a lap, I guess it was a half a lap or a lap before he said we were going to run 9 more, that I knew the situation I was in sort of because, anytime somebody pits for you at a track like this, you're going to be old and older tires. So I was just like, okay, let's just maximize. I want to maximize the time I lose by not making any mistakes, making sure I get everything I can every lap. And if I catch traffic, make sure I time it right and get by them. And, so it worked out good. But when he said, pit and then stay out, I wasn't sure what was going on, to be honest. I just did what he said.
Go to Beth.
Apparently, it was a bigger deal going on because everybody keeps asking me about it. So I'll have to watch the race broadcast and look at Twitter.
Yeah, well, I mean, we never see people get snookered. Like, when you guys say you win races on pit road, it's not like that.
Hey, you guys are slick, man.
That's cool. Donna Beth Weileman, Martinez News Gazette, and Benicia Herald. Last time you won, and there's been some years between there and here, and it's been a bit of an adventure for you. Any thoughts on that last win and what it's meant to you to win this time?
The last one here?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I remember that win like it was yesterday. It was huge, and I really feel like I treat every win the same as I did that day. You never know when your last one's going to be. I went through a lot between my first win in my career and that first win here. And so I really had a completely different outlook, I guess, from my first one to that one. And I think since that one, I've really felt the same on all of them, that I feel really privileged, really blessed, and really lucky to be in the position I'm in for a lot of reasons. And, you never know what's going to happen tomorrow even. So I try to live them up as best I can and enjoy them as much as I can. People asked, where does this win rank? It's hard to rank them because they're all so special, and I know how hard they are to get. So it's a huge win. Road courses are, something that everybody in the garage wants to win in a big way, and to be able to win here twice and to win at both the road courses has been pretty awesome for me, and it's kind of a feather in the cap for a stock car driver to get those, and definitely proud of it.
Do we have any questions upstairs?
Justin Schuler, Speedway Media. Martin, this is the first time in 31 years that the Cup Series has seen 3 road courses in the schedule. How do you feel about that direction with NASCAR adding more road courses to the schedule?
Oh, I'm fine with it. I enjoy them. I think it's fun. It's fun to do something different. The fact that we build 2+ road course cars for 2 tracks, it definitely makes sense budget-wise and for the teams to be able to run more of them. Aside from that, I just enjoy them. I think it's a lot of fun for us as drivers to do something different than the typical ovals, and I think the fans really enjoy them as well. That it puts on a great show. It's really fun. It's really challenging. Our cars are these cars aren't really built for this kind of racetrack, and it's quite the challenge. But that's what makes it fun, and I think that's why all the drivers enjoy it. And so I'd be fine with it. And not sure how the Roval's going to go, so to speak. I think there's a lot of question marks about that still, and where we land on tires and things like that for it. But one thing's for sure is it's going to be exciting, and hopefully the fans enjoy it, and we can make it part of our regular schedule.
We have a second question upstairs.
Mike Embry with USA Today. Martin, you're obviously going to be part of this championship race again. I know none of this is easy, but having been there last year and done that, does that give you a better shot this year? I mean, you sort of know what to expect and so forth?
Yeah, I mean, we've been in the last 3 years, really. 2015 we made the Final Four, and 16 we had a kind of a heartbreaking playoffs, and then last year, of course, had the kind of the dream come true. So we've been, I guess, kind of on all sides of it, which I think doesn't hurt, but at the same time, it doesn't really, make you perform. I think it keeps you in the right frame of mind. It keeps you from getting stressed out. I think more than anything, our guys understand what it takes, what kind of cars we need to build, and what kind of approach we need to take to be prepared for it. But when it starts, if you're not running good or you're not fast enough, it's hard for your mindset or your experience to take over and make it all happen. We need to make sure we're performing well at that point in the season, and the guys are working hard to make sure we can do that. That's the most important thing, and we'll see what we can do.
Right here.
I was looking at the cars when they came in, and they're amazingly clean compared to road races here in the past. Any close calls out there, for one? And number two, do you just think everybody's getting better at road racing than they were?
Yeah, I would say that, to answer your second question first, I would say yes. I think the entire field is definitely better as a whole group. You come back to this track, year after year. The Xfinity guys run more road courses today than they have. Even the trucks run road courses now. They go to Canada, and so I think K&N guys go to road courses. ARCA goes to road courses. I think just in general, stock car racing, you come up with more road course experience today than you did, say, before I did. When I first started, it was very limited, early 2000s, back in the 90s. So I feel like since then, all those series and the ladder system with all the road courses and these kids getting all this road course experience, I think plays a big part in that. The fact that most of the field has experience at it. Doesn't mean they're going to be really good at it, but at least they're good enough to stay on the track all day and not really make big mistakes and make big crashes and things like that. The other thing is we didn't have a lot of cautions. Typically here, cautions breed cautions. Restarts here are insane. They're very crazy. We've seen that in the past where if we get a late caution, you may have 2 or 3 or 4 in a row. So the fact that everybody played the stage breaks and we had clean restarts after that, I think, is a big part of that reason.
Right here.
Hi, Martin. I'm Jesse with the Elk Grove Courier. How good do you feel about repeating the championship this year?
I feel pretty good about it. I feel like we're in a good position, and I've been asked this the last really couple weeks, I guess. And when we won Pocono, I was asked the same thing, and I feel good. I feel great about where we're at. We're doing the right things. Hard to say right now, honestly. I mean, we got a great team. Obviously, we did it last year, but that's no guarantee. There's other teams that have stepped up, and there's a lot of fast guys out there. So it takes a lot to go through the playoffs, and the elimination format is really it's just tough. One bad race, and you can find yourself on the outside looking in, like we were in 16, even though you're strong and you run good. So you just got to be fast, you got to be consistent. Hopefully, we can continue to build up some more playoff bonus points. That's always a key, I think, just so you have something to fall back on if you do have a bad race. Last year we had a pile of them, and we didn't even need them, which I wish we could have just carried them over since we didn't use them. Maybe you need to talk about that, but definitely want to get some of those just in case. I mean, something to fall back on will be nice. So today, gaining them today was nice, and hopefully we'll continue to gain a few as much as possible.
Well, congratulations. I was here on your last one with Michael Waltrip Racing.
Thank you.
And I don't know if you remember, I came up on the fence, I gave you a high five while you were in the winner's circle.
I appreciate that. Yeah, it was cool. That was cool. Thank you.
Hey, don't babysit that drink.
Yeah, I'm looking for beer. Sorry. Do they make purple beer? Let's fill it up.
Yeah. This whole playing out.
That microphone don't like you.
At first, we didn't know if you guys had a code or Cole had told you to
This
not
again?
pit.
You already asked me.
No, but I want to know. Cole said that you guys don't use codes or anything
No, we
like
don't.
some teams do because you guys aren't smart enough to remember what they are. Pretty
That's
much.
right.
Is that
Yeah.
accurate? Like,
Yeah.
do you prefer not to have codes
Yeah,
or
no
not?
codes. It's a recipe for disaster. You know, because we've seen it before. Guys have codes, and then they call it out, and the guy's like, "Oh, what the hell? I thought it was the other way," and they screw up. So we don't do that. We do what we do, and you know, we tell each other what's going on, and we play off that. But today it was obviously a little bit different. But they had some insight that I didn't know about. So yeah, they played off of that. Nah. Yeah.
Luis Torres, Motorsports Tribune. So, Martin, now as we go into the month of July, you have a lot of tracks like Kentucky and Daytona. Obviously, going forward, it's going to be an intense battle between you, Kevin, and Kyle. And notably with Harvick, when you beat Harvick, how do you feel exactly when you beat him when he's at his peak right now?
I think, I mean, that's a good question. I think we feel great when we beat him because not only him, but his whole team, they do an amazing job, and they're great competitors. They got a really good group of guys that are, going to be tough to beat all season long. So, anytime you can beat those guys, it feels good. But just racing with them is fun. You know, today we played a little cat and mouse early in the race and went back and forth, and then felt like he was a little stronger than us first stage, maybe the second stage, and then we got a lot better in the third stage and felt like before he pitted that last time we were actually starting to catch him. So without the strategy, it was going to be a hell of a battle, I think. But just to race with those guys is awesome. You know, Rodney and Kevin are amazing, and they do a great job. So fun racing with them, and when you come out on top, you know you beat the best.
Any additional questions? Thank you, Martin.
Thanks,
Congratulations.
guys. Appreciate it. Safe travels.